is profitability. Is it in the room with us right now? Nintendo, I will literally give you $70 cash money right now for red, blue, yellow, gold, silver. Cash money. No. No.
My emotions. My emotions. 愚蠢的美国人和约
John Cena.
没错，先生，因为这个视频是给美国人看的，我们想说什么就说什么，字幕会换的。
This one doesn't work. And this one doesn't work. But no one is seeing your film on the big screen. But people are seeing movie theaters. They're driving past them every day to go to McDonald's. The Shamrock Shake is back. Yes! Yes! Pre-order now! This is how it feels to watch Disney Plus. Hello, I am the real-life fake wizard. Today we are going to talk about video games, entertainment, and the like. Yes. How we doing, everybody? What a week. What a week it has been. We had videos flying off the charts this week. We got some news we got to go through. We got a lot to talk about. I can't even get that's how crazy things are now. Like, I'm not even able to be completely in the frame without the green screen clipping. Look at this. Look at this. This is what happens on the look. I'm in a box. I'm in a box of glass emotions here. Yikes. What a disaster. We are coming in strong. This is going to be a crash out stream for the books, for the history books, because what are we doing here, you guys? What is going on? This is embarrassing. Like, we started this summer talking about everything that Nintendo was doing and all the stupid things that Nintendo was doing. And like that was one thing. But then, you jump forward and we talk about PlayStation and PlayStation is the equivalent of Ralph Wiggum with their finger jammed up their nose, picking for gold, right? That's what's going on here. But then you have, and this is, I'm really jumping around here because I don't know how to put into words the emotions that I'm feeling as we talk about Xbox today. We're going to talk a lot about Xbox today, right? Back in the day, you guys remember the Amanda Show? The Amanda Show. It was an old sketch show for kids. Turns out they were doing stuff with the kids, which wasn't so great. Wasn't a nice place to work. Certainly wasn't a nice place to work. But there was a sketch called Mr. Gullible. Mr. Gullible. And it was one point where they would convince Mr. Gullible to do terrible things that hurt himself. And I feel like that's the leadership at Xbox, where he's Mr. Gullible smashing his head into the fire extinguisher glass panel and chewing on glass. And Mr. Gullible looks in the camera and goes, wow, glass tastes like blood. And that is what it must be like being a board member or being an executive at Xbox. Glass tastes like blood. And I don't know how else to describe how I feel about this, because for me, I'm an Xbox guy, or at least I used to be. I haven't been for a long time. I loved Xbox on the 360. I loved the original Xbox. I loved the games that were on it. And this is insane. So I see we got some people asking, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about Xbox and Xbox chewing on glass. That's what Xbox is doing. It's the equivalent of chewing glass is what Xbox is participating in. We're also going to talk about Peacemaker. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be like, Peacemaker, why are we talking about Peacemaker? Because I've watched all of Peacemaker, okay? I have caught up with Peacemaker, and I'd like to talk about it. because there are things that I like and there's a lot of things that I don't like. So we're going to talk Peacemaker. We're also going to talk, well, really, it's just more Xbox stuff, but Ghosts of Yotei. Yotei. I'm an American. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Get off my ass. Okay, we're going to talk about the Ghosts of Yotei game because sales numbers are not out. There are no sales numbers for the Ghosts of Yotei game, and that is a pretty big deal. But, you know, the numbers that are being reported, those may not be reliable, but we're going to get into that in just a second. So I do want to start off with a couple of things. I'll give you my opening remarks here. We got some stuff coming next week. We're going to be making some kind of an announcement at some point next week about the future of the channel and some of the things that we're doing. I'm aiming for that to be around Wednesday or Thursday of the upcoming week. I'll put a video out probably to some capacity. Definitely I'll post a video on the Discord server explaining how things are going to change and what we're doing differently. And these are good things. This isn't like a, Wizards going away. This is like a, hey, here's the roadmap for the future of this channel, because there have been a lot of things that I've wanted to do and a lot of things that I've started. And then every time I start something, life decides to right hook me. And that hasn't been really pleasant, but I'm really hopeful that we can get back on track and get things going, get things really, really going. And that's exciting. I have, I'm trying to start a new stream. We just weren't able to do it this week. I missed 2 streams this past week. Because just life is just so much. It's just life happens. You know how it is. You know how it is. So no, I'm anticipating getting to finally starting the fake portal streams. We're gonna be playing indie games every week. We weren't able to start it this week. Probably not this week that we've just entered. And that's okay, because once we start it, that's why I'm all right holding off, because once we start doing these streams, we're not going to stop. It's going to be every single week, no matter what, right? Whether it's me streaming or somebody else, we will be playing indie games and making videos for that. So yeah, opening remarks here. We're going to be doing a formal, like, here's the future of the channel some point later this week, probably Thursday. Probably closer to Thursday, which we'll get that out. But there is something I want to ask, and I want to put this. I'm going to put this in the YouTube. I got to pull it up properly here. This is, remember, you're watching the most professional stream on the internet, so that means I have everything always at the ready for me to pull up on stream here. I want to run a poll with you guys right now, because we've got a good number of people watching with us at the moment. And I want to run a poll. Let me see if I could do this correctly. Yes, click the little arrow, start a poll. I want to know from you guys, do you care about clips as videos? And I'll explain what this means here. So I'm going to hit start the poll. Do you care about clips as videos? So let me just set the premise here. You guys could fill that in. Making videos takes a long time. Making videos takes me anywhere from like 6 to 8 hours to do a single video. And I want to get more videos out. The problem with that being is like, because it takes me so long to make a regular video, I just can't do that as often as I'd like. So something I want to hear from you guys, if you care. What if I was to take clips from streams where I talk about segments, for instance, like we're about to do today, which is going to be talking about, like, for instance, the Xbox thing. We'll talk about that. And then what if I was to take that and make that a video, right? I know a lot of people have feelings about that, right? Some people don't like that. Some people do, because you don't watch the live streams. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'm going to leave that poll open for a little while. Yeah, right now it's sitting at a 50-50. So yeah, you guys run wild with that, of, having me take unprompted. See, that's the thing here. Like, with me just talking, sometimes I sound like a dumbass. We all do. And it's that's where when I do my videos, I like to really iron out exactly what I want to say in the exact way that I want to say it, right? That's why I really, it takes me a long time. When I do videos, it takes me the longest time to script them, right? That, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it with a fury. I hate it. I don't like doing it because it takes so long. It takes so much time to really get it out the exact way you want to get it. And you're constantly thinking as you're writing, what are the people in the comments going to say, and how are they going to pick this apart? You know what I mean? Like that's, I'm always thinking about what my opposition is going to say. But I would like to get more videos out, and I'm considering doing the clips here. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that. You can answer the poll there. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into this today. I see we got a lot of people here. Shout out to all of you. We're well over 200 people already across all platforms. Shout out. Thank you for being here and spending your Sundays here with me. As we go, all right, well, we do have some super chats. Let's get through these. Creators of Freedom for a 2. Will the wizard coat survive this winter? I don't know if that's a reference to something, so I don't want to botch the joke if there's a joke in there, because I'm clearly misunderstanding what the reference is to. Will the wizard coat survive this weekend, this winter? I mean, I don't know. It's freaking hot still, and it's October, and it's still hot. So I don't know if it's going to be this humid all winter. I don't know. I got to just move to Antarctica or some shit. Jaded Juror comes in with a gifted 5 real life fake wizard memberships. Thank you for that. That is very kind of you, Jaded Juror. I appreciate your support very much. That is awesome. Thank you. Sinowflake for a $4.99 says, this week I was laid off from my tech job of 5 years in favor of AI. It really is coming for us all. Please pray for me, Wizard. Last super for a bit. Sinowflake, dude, do not. I wish you didn't super chat, dude. But I appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. I'm very sorry to hear that, man. I'm very, very sorry to hear that has happened to you. You're not wrong. Yes, it is coming for all of us. What scares me is the fact that, dude, it's not even good enough. AI is not even good enough yet, and it's taking people's jobs. Like, you're absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm beyond. I don't have words. I think that would relieve anything you've experienced. That sucks. But if it's any help at all, this is the problem with this is the problem with the corporations, right? This is the problem with these mega corporations. Yeah, and you know what? All right. Now I got a tangent on this because look, there has been a topic that has been floating through my drafts, my script drafts to do a video on for some time, and I haven't found the words to it yet, but I'm going to talk about it here. You know, I do these videos. I talk about how terrible corporations are. I talk about how, they do not care about you. In fact, they hate you. Most of the corporations hate you. They hate their employees. They don't have any loyalty to their employees, as we can see right here with our man Sinowflake, right? But you know what? A lot of people say in my comment section, they're like, oh, well, it's easy. We just need to get rid of capitalism. This is the problem. This is the problem with capitalism. And no, we don't need to change the entire system. What we need to do is stop giving these companies our money. We need to crash the market ourselves. We as buyers have the ability to do that. Okay. You see, the problem here is that corporations. I've explained this before, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're." This is either they're so far on the left or they're so far on the right, and they make it a political thing. When I'm just trying to say it's a systematic economics thing. We live in this pendulum, right? That swings back and forth. You have buyers and sellers, right? And the corporations have decided they're going to work together, and they have undermined the buyers, at which point the pendulum has swung so far one way that the corporations are basically holding on to that pendulum and they're not letting it go. And the thing is, if we stopped consuming, if we stopped buying, if we started, and it's not even a boycott, it's teaching people to stop buying. It is an individual thing. You want to talk about boycotts? Look at that Netflix thing that Elon Musk is pushing. Okay. That is temporary. That is not going to stick around forever. That's not going to be here for very long. It's a boycott today. That's why I haven't even done a video on it, because by the time I do a damn video, it's going to be gone. It's going to be here and gone. Nobody's going to be talking about it anymore because it's going to be gone like that. It's not going to last that long. Maybe it will, and I hope I'm wrong. Maybe it will last long. But if we, as buyers, were to start making choices to stop giving these companies our money, because the truth is you don't need it. Whatever it is that you're buying, you probably don't need it. Okay, and that goes from tech, that goes to clothes, that goes to extra things, that goes to video games. It even goes to food. You don't need the Oreos. You don't need the McDonald's. You don't need it. It's actually bad for you. It's not good for you, especially if you're an American, because they put all that filler shit in there. And I'm guilty of this. But maybe that's where this conversation needs to start getting to, because it's not just Nintendo. It's Nabisco. It's not just Nabisco. It's the housing. It's not just housing. It's all of agriculture. It's every major corporation in the West. It's every major corporation in the world. We're coming in strong on this stream, and we didn't even get into the Xbox thing yet. But Cineflick, I feel so passionately about this because, and what's crazy is I've seen other YouTube channels just popping up that are talking about this, that there are these new movements starting. And I didn't know anything about this until like a couple of days ago. There are these new movements popping up saying don't buy. Like it's the don't buy movement. Now, you guys who know me know that I don't play with movements. I'm not interested in that, because they're temporary. Movements are temporary, and bad actors hijack them. It's an individual choice. It needs to be individuals, teaching individuals to make the choice on their own to stop giving these corporations money. And if we did that, and if we abstained from giving them money, the markets will crash. You want prices to come back down, because prices are not based on inflation anymore, like we're told. That's all bullshit. They're not based on tariffs like we're told, because that's bullshit. You turn on any business news channel like Fox News or CNN, Fox Business or CNN Business, these business channels that air every single day. You turn them on in the morning, 9 a.m. when the stock market opens, 9:30, but by 10 o'clock, they've got some expert on who's going to say something like, well, inflation is not spiking right now. Inflation's not spiking right now. So we're not, we care about the mortgage rates are not going up or going down. They talk about all this bullshit, right? But you know what's most important is the price of the houses are just going to keep going up. The price of goods is still going up. And they say on the news every day, well, prices are going up, but we're trying to slow the rate at which they're increasing. The corporations decide that. And then on top of that, the market, you agree to that when you give them your money. When you say, hey, yes, this good is worth this much money. Stop giving them your money. It's crazy, man. It's craziness, dude. I want to do a whole video on it where I actually have all of my research done and ready to go. And I haven't done that yet. And dude, seriously, I'm sorry to hear you lost your job. That's rough. But I will say this: you will bounce back. You will bounce back. It's going to be rough now, but it will not be rough forever. So Godspeed to that, my man. You got this. You're yelling into the void. What the fuck else am I doing here, dude? Yeah, no shit. No shit. That's the whole point. It's called Wizards Crash Out, where I'm going to yell about things. And we have almost over 250 people watching me yell into the void. That's the whole fucking point. If you don't want to hear it, go watch something else. I don't know if you're digging on me, but I read that as, look, this is like see, we're just going to keep crashing the fuck out. I don't give a shit. I read comments like this, and it's like you're yelling into a void. And now, on one hand, after getting hit with such negative comments for like, I guess, years now, when I read a comment like this, I immediately think that you're like digging on me. So my first response is defensive. So you may not even be digging on me, but I just I've been attacked by comments like way too much. Oh man. Oh, was there a response here? There's a response here. Normies will continue to spend whatever is asked for because they prefer comfort and convenience over the gamer. Boom! You are correct. You are correct. That is our problem. That's what we need to fight. That's what we're up against. That's what our opposition wants. That is, we are playing. I'm really happy you said that. That's a good follow-up. We're playing a game of chess. That's what this is. This is a big game of chess. We are playing, or maybe you say we're playing cards, or maybe we're playing Monopoly, but we're playing a game, and it's buyers versus sellers. And we, unfortunately, on our side as the buyers, we have the difficulty of playing with like a negative handicap of we have all the dumbass normies that need to be woken up. They need to wake up. And so it becomes our job to wake them up. And believe you me, we can do that. It will take time. There are people who, and I know this because I see your comments. And I see the people that watch me, and I see the responses that I get for the things that I say. Not everybody knows all of this stuff coming into this, right? But if you talk about it and you inform on what's going on and you tell people what's really going on, eventually they wake up to it. And I've seen a lot of people like that who were like, hey, I was going to buy that game until you talked about it and put it into that perspective. Now I'm not buying it. Hey, I was going to buy the Switch 2 and then you put it into perspective and now I'm not going to buy it. Hey, my daughter showed me this video and now I'm not going to get that game. And it's like, I have to take those comments at face value. We can wake people up. We can reach normies. It's just our job to recognize that these normies need to be woken up and we have work to do. That's what has to happen. Hell yeah, dude. That's exactly what has to happen. Can you also yell at clouds? Dude, I yell at the clouds all the time. I yell into the void. I yell at the clouds. I yell into this microphone and we stream to the world. Like it's just the thing, man. It's just how it goes. Here's what I don't get. Does our money even really matter? If the top 1% have 95% of the wealth, will our dollars mean anything regardless of how we spend it? Fantastic question. Here's the thing about the top 1%, the 1%. It's actually not even the top 1%. It's the top 0.01% that has all of the money. However, they are not liquid. They're not liquid. That's something that's really important here. They're not sitting with the cash in their bank accounts. All of their money, all of the top 1%, 0.1%, top 10% of the world, their money is not tied up in liquid assets. They're not sitting on stockpiles of cash. They have their money invested into things. Elon Musk is going to be the first person to be a trillionaire. And that's hyperbole. That's more of a joke, but there's a good chance that Elon Musk could be the first trillionaire. Does that mean he's got $1 trillion sitting around? No. What it means is that he has tied up his money into assets that are creating more wealth or appreciating in value. There's a lot of people. Okay. Let's swing this into the entrepreneurial space, right? Let's talk in the entrepreneurial content creator world. There is a big discussion about getting into real estate, which is where that whole cycle has kind of gone into, because starting a small business is virtually impossible right now in our current economic climate. Like it's really hard to do. You can try it, you can do it, and God bless you if you do. It's just really hard to do. So now that whole like, hey man, you're an alpha dog. Yeah, hey, get in there, top dog. Start that business. That's kind of gone away. And now everybody's saying, hey man, hey alpha top dog, get in there and get into real estate. You better get into real estate, dude. You got to pull your money together, take out a mortgage, and get into real estate and start renting out apartments. You want real generational wealth, bro? You need to become a landlord. Okay. And like that's where it's all gone into is buying like real estate. But we talk about somebody like Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk has assets in other corporations that are generating more money. So now let me round this back down. Okay. Here's what I don't get. Does our money even really matter? Yes, it does. If the top 1% has 95% of the wealth, will our dollars mean anything regardless of how we spend it? Absolutely. You know why? Because the corporations that are increasing in value still need to report good earnings. They still need to report strong sales. They still need to report profitability. And here's the thing. Here's the problem with the game. we're just going the fuck off today, man. We are just going all the way the fuck off. If we look at 2008, let's look back. Let's go back in time. Let's talk about 2008. 2008 economic crash of 2008 was because corporations, bankers, business owners were over leveraging. They created an economic condition where they needed to be bailed out. Banks needed to be bailed out. Banks were over leveraged. It was a mess. And we're not really getting into that specific angle of it. I'm not doing a full history lesson. What I'm trying to say is these corporations are run by a bunch of idiots, and they're gamblers. And they over leverage themselves, and they make terrible decisions that come back to bite them in the ass later on. The world, now fast forward, right? Because we've seen it crumble before. If we fast forward to now, they have put us into a position where they are, the success of their new gamble, because it's a new gamble, the success of their new gamble is predicated on constantly increasing profits. But not like a little bit, not by a tiny bit, by the maximum amount of profit percentage increase that they possibly can get. And that has created a problem, because now they have to guarantee that people are buying their stuff, but they're constantly trying to cut the funds available to produce good content, but also they're hiring people that can't. And it's not just content; it's just goods and services, right? They're constantly cutting the investment into making goods and services, and on top of that, they're hiring idiots that actually can't produce anything worth a damn. So on top of that, they're increasing prices back on consumers. So consumers are now having to pay more for less to be able to report higher profits. So does our money really matter? Yes, because if we stop buying, this house of cards comes crumbling the fuck down, because they're gambling. They're gamblers. All of corporate America, all of the corporate West is gambling. That's all it is now. Look at Xbox. We haven't even gotten into it yet. Xbox bought Activision Blizzard on a gamble. It was what, $70 billion? It was a $70 billion gamble. Hit the microphone. I'm so passionate on this one. Because they thought they would be able to make billions of dollars on Call of Duty. I mean, that's what's coming out now. The information we're getting is saying that they thought Call of Duty was going to be worth so much money. They're going to make a fortune on Call of Duty. Like, that's really why they bought it. It wasn't just for Activision. It was for everything else, man. Hypnotic says, you're yelling into the void. Void is me. I am the void. Welcome. That's pretty gay. That's pretty gay. I'm not hating on that, but that's the Hypno. That's pretty. Hey, yo, man. Shout out. Mellow Rebel for a 2. Thank you for valid crash outs. Well, thank you for tuning in for them. Apparently people want to see this crashing out all the time, because we've got over 350 people watching across all platforms. Shout out to you guys, man. That's awesome. We're here, dude. All right. Let's get into it. Let's talk real topics, because otherwise I'm just going to keep yelling about dumb shit. But yeah, seriously, last point. If we stopped buying things and we stopped giving these corporations our money, they will come crashing down. Ken Clippy has called it. You gay AF, boy. All right, let's do it. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about Ghosts of Yote first. Here we go. And I'm going to pull this banner down. All right. Hey, how are we doing, Xbox fans? Did you put your controllers down to watch this stream? Or perhaps maybe you weren't playing anything on PlayStation at all, because Ghosts of Yote may or may not be getting sold at all. But let's get into this, right? Ghosts of Yote has reportedly sold over 1 million copies, selling faster than Ghosts of Tsushima. I'm going to move the screen over here so I can read it a little bit better. Do I have to zoom in here? I got to zoom in here. Yeah, it's better. All right. All right, despite all the controversy surrounding the game, Ghost of Yotei has come out on top and managed to garner a mostly positive reception from both the players and the critics. It is reportedly even doing well in the sales department. Okay, here we go. So folks, I know a little bit about this story, but I have not read this article. So for those of you that are watching this stream for the first time, I don't pre-read the articles. We go into the blinds together, and the reason for that is I want to know. I want to have that real emotional reaction with you guys in real time, right? So as we read this, and it says, reportedly, pay close attention to where the report is coming from, okay? According to some new information, Ghost of Yotei has already sold over 1 million copies on its first day. It is selling at a faster pace than its predecessor, Ghosts of Tsushima, which will be a welcome sign for Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is the developer. Why it matters. Before the release, Yotei's success looked questionable based on the people's reaction and the political comments the studio made. However, it is thriving based on the sales figures. This is a crock of shit. This is a crock of crap, my friends. There is no evidence to this game's success, and we're going to read this tweet in a second if you haven't jumped ahead. Yotei's success looked questionable. Well, that's really interesting that you'd point that out in this article. Who wrote this? Abdullah Wasim from Tech for Gamers. Okay. Yotei's success looked questionable based on the people's reactions and the political comments. Nobody has, other than maybe myself and Smash JT and Words of Paradise and Kada and New Blackstreet and Hypnotic and like, the Saturday Night Hypnosis crew, maybe other than those people, I have maybe Endymion talked about it, maybe Yellow Flash at some point, although I don't keep up with everybody. Nobody's talking about this game in the aspect that it's going to fail. Everybody's been saying that this game is going to probably do okay. It's going to make its money back, right? Nobody's really been saying this hasn't been a big deal. So why this is disingenuous for you to be pointing to this now. This is you're patting yourself on the back for what you're about to say. You're trying to say that the success looked questionable based on the people's reactions and political comments the studio made. Like, no, it wasn't. Not nearly enough people were talking about it for it to be a fucking problem. Okay. However, it is thriving based on sales figures. Where are they? Abdullah, where are the sales figures and where are you getting that information from? Well, we get it from this tweet right here. Millie A. Hearing 1.3 million sold on the first day for Yotei, ever so slightly ahead of Tsushima's first 24 hours of 1.25 million units. Tsushima kept pace on its second day with another 1.15 million sold. Can Yotei keep up? Again, if I'm saying the name of these Japanese locations wrong, don't blame me. I'm an American, okay? And I'm also not good with names. I butcher super chat and comment names all the time. Don't get mad at me. And if you do, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, at this point, it was still only 784 views. That's funny. According to Insider, Millie Almond, I don't know who you are. Ghosts of Yotei on its first day sold 1.3 million copies, while Ghost of Tsushima sold 1.25, which puts it ahead. All right, we just read that. Hey, this right here, do you see what we just read it here? But now we're reading it here. Do you guys know why articles would do something like that? This is like a little heads up for like web design and stuff. The reason that, because you just read it in this tweet, but now if you're reading it down here in text format in the article, that is specifically for SEO purposes, because they want Google to pick this up. Because now Google's going to, when I type in Ghost of Yotei sales, it's going to pull up this line here. And that's why this article is like number one. It's likely because of this sentence. Anyway, as of 2024, Ghost of Tsushima had sold over 13 million copies, which is a decent number for an exclusive title. Decent number. That's a massive number. That's a great number. But in that time frame, it also released on PC. The general response towards Yotei is more positive, hinting at good things to come. Is that true? That because the general response, I mean, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the critics' response, the general response to it? Because are you referring to the sales numbers? Or are you talking about the vibes on the internet? Are you talking about like the critics' scores? But you see, general response towards Yote is more positive, hinting at good things to come. That doesn't mean shit. That's an opinion. That's an opinion. That doesn't mean fucking nothing. That doesn't mean anything. Sucker Punch's latest title was already topping pre-orders on the PS5, so the success was imminent. The profit margin on the title will also be massive, considering its budget was similar to Tsushima, unlike most PlayStation sequels. Now, that's a very interesting point that I want to talk about. That's a very interesting point. So, yes, we do know that. So, Ghosts of Tsushima had a budget close to $60 million development budget. We do not know where that money is allocated or if there was more money allocated that went to marketing. Okay. Usually there's a lot more money put into marketing, but if we're talking about just development budget, it seems that all the reports lead to it was $60 million for the first game. We do know that it's been reported that they had a budget similar to the first game, which was not too big. In a world where Star Wars games are costing hundreds of millions of dollars to make, like, that's not bad. That's like kind of commendable almost that they were able to make this game for such a low budget. It's like it's almost $100 million. But like, let's you and I, chat. You and I are going to say that this game's budget was $100 million. Let's just put it at that number. That's not impossible to break. That's not impossible to get a profit margin over. It's not impossible to start making profit on that. All right, let's finish this up. Nonetheless, the studio has another hit on its hands. One of the best parts about Ghost of Yote is how well optimized for the base PS5, and it looks and runs almost identical on the PS5 Pro. What are your thoughts on already selling 1 million units? But you see, there's the problem. We don't know that it has sold 1 million units. We have an inside scoop from a tweet from a person that has about a 50-50 track record of being correct. That is a 50-50 track record for inside scoops. This is not a reliable source. So the point I'm trying to make here is, do I think that this game sold under 1 million units? No, that's not really it. I think this game probably did sell over 1 million units. The problem that I have is that the world is reporting that this game is a hit, this game is a success, this game is selling like crazy, because that's what the access media has to do to maintain their access. They need to run with it. But this is one source with a 50-50 track record, and there is no one else reporting these numbers. There is no one else talking about these numbers. There's no one else out there. There's no one from Sony hasn't commented on this. Sucker Punch hasn't commented on this. We do not have an official success metric. And maybe that has changed since I started this stream, and I don't have it in front of me. If that has happened, somebody please let me know. Somebody please let me know. But as of right now, we do not know what the actual sales numbers are on this game. But I will tell you this. I think it did not sell that well. And that well, selling that well, is subjective to what your metrics of success would be. If inside Sony, they want this game to sell 3 million units, then that means they're not going to report it. They're not going to get excited. They're not going to talk about it. They're not going to announce it until they have 3 million units. Okay? They want it to be 3 million. And if it takes a long time to get 3 million units, then they're not going to talk about it at all. Okay? The silence here, the silence from Sony and from Sucker Punch is deafening. Because if this game really was blowing it out of the water and hitting their internal metrics, they wouldn't shut up about it. They would be parading it around like it's a massive victory. And here's the bigger point. In this article, right, you had that reference to, oh, well, we didn't know if this game, it was questionable whether this game was going to be a hit because of all the political jargon associated with it. But hey, if this game was selling well, they would be parading that around and celebrating that they got you, that despite having political commentary in it, despite having politics and stupid shit attached to it, it still sold 5 million units or 3 million or 2 million or however many million they want. Does that make sense? The silence from Sony is deafening. If it was a success, they'd talk about it because they need to get it back because they want their shareholders to know that they're crushing it. So if they're not talking about it, it's the same thing with Dragon Age, you guys. It's the same thing with Dragon Age Veilguard. We learned this a couple of months ago. Oh my God. Yeah, I say a couple of months ago. Oh, that was over a year ago now, or like almost a year ago. Because that Veilguard came out like November, I think, like right before American Thanksgiving. Which that's pretty funny. So we learned this a year ago, that these metrics are important and they're going to talk about them if they're successful. So that's worth noting. Do I think this game is going to like, oh my God, nobody bought this game? Like, no. It's going to sell. This game is going to sell. And people are saying, I've heard from like just my friends who've bought it that they're saying it's really great. They say the music is really great and the game is great. This is a non-binary for me. I am not buying this one. I am not interested. Although I did install the first one. So I'm finally going to play the first game. I have not played it yet, but I did install it. So anyway, Ghost of Yote, tying that story up. Do not trust this. This is one tweet from somebody that has a 50-50 leak track record. We need, this is, guys, this is just the news being the news again. I don't trust the news. I don't trust the news. And it's for reasons like this. The Access Media is taking a tweet from a 50-50 track record person and parading it around as if it's fact. Come on now. Is it just me? Is it just me here that's like, this is stupid? Because this is stupid. Unbelievable. I'm going to tangent for a second here. This is why we have so many fucking problems. This is why we have so many fucking problems. Because every time there's a situation where you want to hold a company accountable, you like to hold them accountable for all their dumbass mistakes. You get the Access Media journalists, you get the fucking content creators and podcast dopes running around running defense for these companies. We have no idea what the sales numbers are, but the world is telling you that this thing is selling gangbusters. And we just showed you that we don't have anything on that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Oh shit, dude. Holy shit. Mr. Rouge, man. Dude, coming in with a gifted 50. Real life fake wizard memberships. Holy shit, bro. Dude, thank you. Holy crap. Dude, you got me for Goat Simulator 3 last night. And now you hit me here. This is talk about a blessing, man. Mr. Rouge, dude. Dude, God bless Mr. Rouge. Holy shit. Guys, Mr. Rouge is single-handedly keeping the channel funded. Dude, I don't I appreciate that very much. Wow. Yikes, dude. Awesome. Shout out. All right. With that, let's keep this party going, man. Mr. Rouge is telling us we got to keep this party going. Dropping the big old gifties on a Sunday afternoon. Shout out, brother. All right, let's get into the next one. And this is the big one. This is the big one. All right, let me see. Can I do this correctly? Share this tab instead. Pull this up. Let's talk about Xbox. Let's talk about the Xbox. All right, so earlier this week, we all know I did a video on it. I'm sure you all watched my video. Xbox Game Pass is increasing its prices. Okay. Obviously, this is bad. I did a video talking about this, and this is a good prelude to the problems that we're about to talk about overall with Xbox. I want to be clear on something. Xbox intended to get you hooked on Game Pass. Xbox and Microsoft want you to be, maybe addicted would be the right word, but I think a better word would be reliant. Xbox wants you to be reliant on getting video games via Game Pass subscription. Okay. Now let me break that down a little bit. Over the last, let's just say 10 years, Microsoft has been acquiring studios left and right. They've been buying up all of the studios making the games. Why would they do this? Well, because they want direct access to the games. They want control over what the games are. Because that's how they make money. They make money on the games. We already know this because they don't really make money on the console sales, not nearly as much as they'd like. Money in the gaming industry is made on games. So that's why the Xbox Microsoft wanted to acquire all the companies. Now, earlier this year, Nintendo pushed video games into a new threshold where those games are going to cost $80. It appears as if Nintendo has begun rolling that back, although I could be wrong. We shall see. And I'm saying for base game entry point being $80. Nintendo is doing a lot of other sneaky dog shit, stupid fuckery, right? But Xbox here, because that's what we're talking about, tried to get their games up to $80. They tried with Outer Worlds 2 earlier this year. And what we know is that the pre-orders must have been so terribly bad that Microsoft rolled that back and reset the game price down to $70. And they said, we're no longer increasing the prices of games. Now, why is that bad for Microsoft? Well, Microsoft wants to get games up to $80. Microsoft wants games to be $90, $100, $125, $150, $200, $500. Microsoft and all of the major corporations want the game prices to be as high as possible because of what we talked about at the beginning of the stream, so that they report higher profits, but moreover, so that this Game Pass looks like a bargain. It's so that it looks like a deal. And so that you, as a buyer, you and I, the actual gamers who are playing the games, they are trying to invent an economy, a marketplace, where the only way that we can afford to play games, the only way that we can legitimately consider playing games is by subscribing. Because then you're not buying titles anymore. You're not buying the games. You don't own the games anymore. And it's not even an ownership conversation. It's just, if you're over here, if you're getting the Game Pass, they control everything. They get all the money, right? It takes away the entire conversation on how things can be made, how things get funded, and what is made. Now, the problem that Xbox has faced is that they failed with their $80 game push. All these companies, all these corporations are so stupid. They genuinely think that they can push us all around. But see, that's the point I've been trying to make you guys. Like, that's the point. If on our own we can reject things, like even without thinking about it, we had the ability to bully Nintendo and bully Xbox. Without even trying. We did not coordinated, not working together. We were just like collectively like, yeah, $80 is not going to work. We don't want the $80 games. Without communicating. Imagine if we did communicate. That's really my like greater point here, is if we did it blindfolded, if we did it without even thinking, we rejected the $80 games. Imagine if we educated people. Imagine if we talked about it more often. We could move the dial. We could move that pendulum to swing back, or at least bring it back to center, because we could scare the bejesus out of these companies. It's possible. It is possible. It's not impossible. There's just a lot of work to be done. Now, we'll fast forward into this. Xbox failed to get games to $80. But, big round but, they still need to make Game Pass profitable. Game Pass, it appears, is not generating the profit that they need Game Pass to generate. If at all. So, what do? They raise the price of Game Pass. They raise the price back to you. Something that was pretty much scheduled, and I predicted it, and I know Hypnotic predicted it at one point too. There have been lots of creators who've predicted this. A lot of people have said Game Pass price is going to go up eventually. And I had a lot of Xbox shills in my comments saying, no, you're crazy. You're a grifter. And it's like, guess what, dummy? I was right. I called it. I was right again. I don't like being right on things like this, but I was. So Game Pass price goes up, and everybody's rejecting it. And that's a problem, because it's also coming off the back of the Xbox console prices just went up. It's coming off the back of, hey, take a look at this, my mans. Take a look at this, my friends. This is coming to us from Sam's Club. This was posted on Twitter. I work for Sam's Club. We're selling systems pretty cheap right now. This is the Xbox Series S and X on clearance because they're clearing them out. No more Xbox. They raised the price of the Xbox consoles, and now stores are dumping them. Stores don't even want them anymore. I think that's something else that should be studied. They don't even want the consoles anymore because they're not selling, because no one wants them. And do you know why people don't want Xboxes? Do you know why? It's not just because of Game Pass. It's not just because anything is an Xbox. It's not just because your phone is an Xbox. It's not just because, your AirPods could be Xboxes. Do you know why no one wants an Xbox? Because the games are shit. Because the first party games are available everywhere else. And because they're not making good games. And that's the broader part of this conversation. Like, that's kind of, I'm jumping to the end of my overall thesis here, because that's the fucking reality. Okay. Xbox Studios isn't making good games. They're not. They've outsourced everything. They're hiring outside studios to develop games for them, but the ones that they're even making themselves are fucking terrible. Or they're just not interesting enough. They're not generating sales, and people don't want to pay them, play for them, or waste their time with them. And I could say the same thing about Sony. I could say the same thing about Ubisoft. I could say the same thing about all the AAA companies. See, that's the bigger thing here, you guys. It's like, oh my God, they're raising prices. It's like, yeah, we wouldn't care about the prices if they were delivering actual quality. We wouldn't care. And that's the bigger talking point. Like, we can nitpick. I ranted about this last week. It's like, we can nitpick all the little details, right? We can really dive in on really specific details, and like, we could talk about the pricing on this, right? I could pull this up. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. $20 before. Now it's $30 for Game Pass Ultimate. But like, dude, no one gives a shit because the games aren't good enough. Because Xbox Studio games aren't good enough. Could say the same thing about Sony. You look at even Nintendo. Apparently Nintendo's got games worth playing because people can't wait to buy that shit. But Xbox they're not delivering the goods. Starfield, embarrassing. Redfall, embarrassing. Gears of War Reloaded, a PS5 port of a nearly 20-year-old game that has more bugs than ever before, because that's what Gears Reloaded has. Gears Reloaded is virtually unplayable. And I'm a Gears of, like, people play competitive gaming. Like, I could go pro in Gears if I actually, that's my game. All right. I'm not even joking. I spent more hours in Gears than any other, shooter. That is my game. That game fucking sucks. The Reloaded sucks. It is a buggy disaster. Fable. When are we getting that? They announced that 6 years ago now, 5 years ago. Long time. Perfect Dark. Well, we learned with Perfect Dark that the announcements they make aren't even real. Perfect Dark was a fake trailer that they told us was real gameplay. But then we find out later that not only was that fake, but that the team developing the game, and they've already spent millions and millions and millions of dollars, has no idea what they're doing with Perfect Dark. Can't get it done. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. You know why no one cares? Because Indiana Jones is a dead IP. Because Disney killed it. So no one cares. Even that game might be great. I have no idea. I don't care. But you spend hundreds of millions of dollars on that. I can't imagine how much money that costs. And they're not putting that on sale, and that's Bethesda, right? That's Xbox now. Call of Duty. Yeah, you got Call of Duty players, sure. But Call of Duty isn't growing. It's sustaining. And this is something that I would like to pull up information on if I had it. If I had a producer, I'd be like, hey, Jamie, pull that up. But I don't have a producer. I bet if we looked at the numbers, Call of Duty is sustaining and it's getting tiny growth over time. Mostly because young kids finally get into gaming and their friends get them playing get them playing something like Call of Duty. But like Fortnite is bigger than Call of Duty. I mean, that's pretty true. So what else does Xbox have? Where are the first party top? Forza? I like 6 people play Forza. Maybe you're one of the 6. A shout out to you. You and 5 other people love Forza. Awesome. What else? What am I missing? Expedition 33, that was a big deal. Oh, that was on Game Pass. That was a day one on Game Pass. Except it wasn't an Xbox title. Xbox paid to put that on Game Pass on day one. What else is there? South of Midnight? Nobody wants that shit. Halo? What happened to Halo? Oh man, Halo's cooked. Halo's dead. Look at the management team for Halo. Gone. Dead brand. So, we look at this. Oh my God, the prices are going up. And people around the world are like, well, I'm canceling my subscription because I don't feel there's value there. And that's really it. People are done because there's no value. Because they understand we're being taken advantage of by these companies that are asking for more and not delivering more for that increase in value. Fuck these companies, man. It fills me with rage. It fills me with actual rage. The fact that they think that they can continue taking advantage of you. This is you. This, and we didn't even get into the main Xbox consoles topic yet, but this right here, you see this right here, this chart? This chart is a middle finger at you. They think you're stupid. They think you're going to fall for it. And there are plenty of Xbox fans that will. Just like Nintendo did the same thing. Nintendo's, yeah, all right, well, people are going to buy the Switch 2. They're going to pay $80 for $80 games now because they're stupid. They don't like you. In fact, they hate you. In fact, corporations hate you. They love taking advantage of you. We've seen this before, and I will say this on repeat. You put this on my tombstone as a quote that came out of Hasbro. The brain is the obstacle to the wallet. That is how all the mega corporations think about you. That is how the governments think about you. That's how the news media thinks about you. That's how every major business thinks about you. Your brain is the obstacle to your wallet. That's all they care about, is getting more money out of you. They don't actually give a shit about delivering more value. So this is poppycock. And I highly recommend you cancel it and send them a message. And if it gives you a little bubble pop-up that says, would you like to tell us why you're canceling? You just put, because the wizard said you're trash, Brock. Or put a meme. I don't know. You'll put something. You come up with something. But yeah, tell them. No. Tell them the price increases have gone up. Tell them it's the price increases. See what they say then. It's insane. All right, I'm finally looking at your comments here because I have it. Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right, Big Ben. Avowed. Yes, guys, come on. You're going to pay more money for Avowed, right? You got to pay more money for Avowed. What are you doing? You don't want to pay $30 a month to play Avowed? You're a bigot. You must be bigoted to say that. You or worse. You're an istophobe if you're not willing to do that. You're just a hater. That's what you are. You're just a hater. And it's like, that's ridiculous, dude. That's insane. Great point here from Darth Wanker. Look at Schedule 1. Took a dude working in his garage on the weekend. Look at Megabonk. What did it sell? It sold at least 100,000 units. I don't know. Did it sell 1 million? It might have sold 1 million. Megabonk was done by one guy. It's an indie game by one guy. And everybody loves it. I think it's like $20. It's on Fake Portal. We put it on Fake Portal. before it exploded. Like, yikes, dude. This is nuts. That's right. That's right. Yes. If you don't like Avowed, or if you don't like these pricings, you must be a typical gamer misogynist. That's right. For you to be conscious about what corporations you give your money to, you must be a typical gamer misogynist, right? Oh, man. Hey, this is good news. Blueberry Mixer says, I found Megabonk because of Fake Portal. Well, that's really cool. That's really cool to hear. I am very happy to hear that. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Megabonk had over 100,000 concurrent on Steam. That's incredible. And shout out to them. Shout out to that guy. Whoever made that, great stuff. All right. But let's get into the bigger topic here, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're going to do. We talked about the Game Pass prices. The Game Pass prices are a middle finger to you, gamers. It's a middle finger. Hey, double middle fingers, which I can't do because YouTube doesn't like that. So I'm just going to give you 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs way up, baby. Okay, what we're about to look at here, and I'm going to take it off screen for a second so I can introduce this. What we are about to look at here is another source from Twitter that is reporting a rumor, which I don't know if I fully subscribe to yet. A rumor that Xbox is having a lot of internal problems and might be discontinuing the upcoming next-gen console. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so this is coming from Sneakers SO. Now, I don't know who this is, but apparently the way that everybody talks about this person online is that they're extremely reliable. I don't know if this is true. I don't know who this is. So I'm going to lead this conversation by saying I have no idea the validity of this, only that this is the story that is being talked about right now. So we're going to read it together. I'm going to give you my thoughts, but I'm going into this. This might be a complete crock of shit. And it might very well be. It might be completely wrong. And that'd be okay. But that's fine. Let's get into it now. All right, so coming to us from Sneakers SO, without going into too much detail, not long after the last round of layoffs, and the next one should be coming in Q1 2026, well, then there's our indication to see if this person's telling the truth. There's our indication. If we see the layoffs happening in Q1 of 2026, then that means this person must know something. And it's going to be just as massive as the last one. Some rumblings out of Xbox starting coming out that were a little hard to believe. Okay. All right. Well, the last one was massive. It was something close to 9,000 people inside of Microsoft. There was a big problem with that story. The last round of layoffs, which was earlier this year, maybe around March or April. But the big situation there was 9,000 Xbox employees got laid off. It's like, no, actually it wasn't. It was 9,000 Microsoft employees, some of which were part of Xbox. Okay, the ramifications on the COD Game Pass gambit not working out were just starting to get properly measured. But the thing that really stuck out to me was that suddenly really concrete plans for actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really startling given that this thing was meant to be out relatively soon. It was one of those situations where, despite folks being told, quote, hey, we want to pull the trigger on this in 2026, the steps you would need to take in the lead up to delivering a new console generation weren't being met. Lots of things that were sure things started getting pushed. The Costco retailer pulling Xbox, and apparently they are one of many that we'll learn about soon, told me all I need to know. To sum it up, the future of Xbox is software publishing with a significantly honed in focus on profitable IPs like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Forza Horizon. cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud access, which will continue to drive its price tag higher, by the way. They aren't done there just yet either. And releasing their software on any device that has a marketplace and users willing to buy their titles. Maybe some of the OEM thing will take up the Xbox name, but given what is clearly a collapse in favorable mind share and faith in said brand, I'm not even sure a third-party OEM is going to want to have an Xbox console by the time Microsoft is done with the reorienting of the division. Holy shit, if this is true. I just want to reiterate, guys, we don't know if this is legit. And I don't know who this person is, this Sneakers SO. Like, I'll tell you, I guess here's a bit of a trivia for me. I don't keep up. I don't know every single thing about every single person in the zeitgeist. I certainly don't give a fuck about journalists. I don't keep up with the journalists. Like, I don't know who they are. I don't keep up with the content creators, so I don't know who they are. I don't follow shill accounts, so I don't know who they are. And I'm not saying this person's a shill account. I'm just saying I have no idea the validity of what we just read. But if I'm to take this as at face value, and the reports have been saying that this person is reliable, that this person knows what they're talking about, then Xbox is cooked. Xbox has cooked themselves. And that makes me sad in a way. Not sad like sad for this company or for these people. Sad for me and like the kid version of me that played so much Xbox in my youth. And you know, like that part of me is dying. Like that's the part of me that I'm mourning the loss of. Like like none of that's ever coming back. When they announced the Xbox One, you know, part of me was like excited because I'm like, well, my journey with Xbox continues in a way. My journey with Xbox will continue, and we're going to keep getting games that are as good, if not better, than the experiences I had on the Xbox 360 and then the experiences that I had on the PS3. And that never happened. It never came to pass. Xbox never made those high quality games. Those legacy IPs that I loved and never saw the light of day again. They were put on the shelf. They were shelved or handed to people that had no interest in telling continuing good stories at all. Like Gears of War is terrible, dog shit. That could be an entire stream on its own of just how the Gears of War franchise has died. But here's the reality. None of you would watch that or want to watch it because that franchise is so dead, even talking about it doesn't get any views because no one wants to hear about it. No one wants to hear about it because no one cares about that franchise. It's just like Star Wars. Gears of War is in the same place that Star Wars is. They destroyed it. So we look at this. And Xbox is going to transition into software. I don't even know what to say to that because the software they make now isn't worth a damn. So why would the software they make later be worth a damn? It won't be. You know what I mean? Like, I just spent all this time introducing this topic by saying the games that Xbox makes are just not worth your money. That's why they're in this state. Okay, the only reason I own an Xbox Series S is because the day before Xbox Series S went on sale for pre-order, they announced the Bethesda deal. And they made it seem like all of the Bethesda games and the new Elder Scrolls and the new Fallout, well, those are going to be Xbox exclusive now. And that is how they positioned their launch of the Xbox Series consoles. So me, being still a gamer at the time and being a lover of Elder Scrolls and wanting to play more Fallout and hoping for the best, I bought a Series S. Do you know where it is now? It is sitting on a bookshelf completely unplugged, collecting dust. My Xbox One is in a box in my closet. I have no desire to play these systems or these games. Because the games that have come out on these consoles have been shit. Or they're available on better places that are not Xbox. So, you know, we look at a story like this, and All right. Let's do this, chat. Let us do our due diligence. Let's do our due diligence. Because we've already got access media journalists doing what they do, running defense, everybody. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. No, Xbox's next-gen console hardware plans aren't canceled for now, but it's a problem that it really was easy to believe. And this is published by Jez Corden. I don't know who you are, but you seem to be a journalist. I don't really know how much I like you anyway. All right, so rumors are swirling that Xbox is going to kill its hardware ecosystem. Ecosystem. It's not true for now, but it easily could have been true, given how nonsensically Xbox acts lately. Okay. So today, rumors began to swirl across the internet that Xbox is planning to exit hardware and move entirely to Xbox cloud gaming as the primary way to access content. We know this because we just read it. I can confirm via very trusted sources that this isn't true. All right, so I hate journalists. I hate them. I hate journalists. I don't like journalists. This is why. On one hand, it's, hey, trust me, bro, Xbox is dead. And on the other hand, we have, hey, trust me, bro, Xbox is fine. It's a double trust me, bro. Double trust me, bro. That's the system. That's all the journalists are, everybody. Like, look, if I go full screen here, I could say to you, listen up, chat. We have over 500 people watching right now, and I have a news briefing for you. I am the real life fake wizard. I'm coming to you live right now from my wizard lair in Cambodia, that my sources are telling me that we are going to get Elder Scrolls 7 in the year 2042. This will be right off the back of Kingdom Hearts 7, okay, which is coming out in 2041. All right. My sources are telling me that this is extremely valid and extremely real. Okay. We have also just received Final Fantasy VII 18. Okay. We got the 18th version of Final Fantasy VII. Trust me, dude. My sources are telling me this. These are my sources. Are you going to question my sources? You're just a gamer misogynist if you question my sources. If you criticize me and my reporting, then you are wrong. Okay, how dare you? I am the real life fake wizard, and I have sources that are telling me that we are going to get Battletoads 8 made for Google phones. Okay, in the year 2037. It's valid. It's real. Okay, and it's happening. What, you guys don't trust me, bro? You don't trust me? That was a dramatic presentation of what it's like to read the fucking news every single day. Anyway, I can confirm via very trusted sources that this isn't true. I don't know you, Jez Corden. I don't know you, and don't take this personally. Fuck you. don't take this personally. I'm exhausted. I am 2 sentences into your article, and I'm exhausted already. Get the fuck out of here with this. My sources. I have trusted sources. You don't have trusted shit. You all lie. You're all liars. I can't take anything seriously that you say. And when you start off by saying, my very trusted sources, like yes, stroking the beard, my trusted sources are telling me that Xbox is fine. This is why we're so fucked up. This is what's wrong with it. This is what's wrong with us. We trust this shit. We give this even the time of day. At least for now. But that's, quote, at least for now, a qualifier is a real problem. How can we know what will be true next quarter? Well, that's a good point. What will be true next quarter? I don't know. But when you lead an article saying I have trusted sources, it makes me say, go fuck yourself. Let's put aside for a minute the fact that Xbox Game Pass remains a primary driver of revenue and is most prolific on Xbox console hardware. And that's where the bulk of the users are right now. Let's put aside the fact that Xbox cloud gaming is restricted by location, expensive to run, and that with the same silicon, you could give people their own cloud natively in their house and get them to use their own electricity to power it, like a console. Smartass. All of these rumors emerged in the wake of Microsoft's barely explicably 50% price increase in Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and the weird tone-deaf way in which they tried to present it as, quote, a good thing, throwing in Fortnite Crew and stuff people didn't really ask for. They didn't throw in anything except Fortnite Crew. Like, that's the only thing that's been added to that. The fact these latest hardware rumors seemed plausible is a real problem and showcases to me a very deep disconnect between Microsoft and how its audience and the community at large views gaming in general. Yeah, they've burned all of the goodwill that they've created. They have destroyed all of the goodwill. All of the trust is gone. All of the trust is gone. But that's not just with Xbox. That's with Sony. That's with Nintendo. It's with Ubisoft. It's with Activision Blizzard, which happens to be Microsoft. It's with Bethesda, which happens to be Microsoft as well. There is no more trust. The trust is gone. Do you know where you have trust now? Do you know where the trust is located right now? In two places. Indie games and retro. Because retro is already out. Retro has been out for a long time. So it's just playing old games that you loved again. And then indie is where there's trust because it's a small cost to play something new. Let us continue. All right, so here we go. Microsoft's multi-year partnership with AMD for next-gen Xbox hardware is still the present plan. It's all part of the plan. Okay, is it? I could easily be just as random as source claiming that Xbox hardware is still on the table, but it was our sources that confirmed the existence of the Xbox Series S and X, their specs, their price, in addition to reports on the canceled cloud Keystone console, the shelved first-party Xbox handheld, and more recently, the Xbox Ally. All right, so this is the flex right here. This is the flex that says, hey, trust me, bro, I got these things right. Okay. Codenamed Keenan and comprised of Omni Xbox Ally and Horseman Xbox Ally X, the Xbox Ally range is part of Microsoft's multi-year partnership with AMD, which will include tailor-made devices from first party. I've asked multiple trusted sources, many of whom spoke to me on the above devices previously, which turned out to be true about what Xbox's present hardware posture is. For now, it remains unchanged. Microsoft publicly confirmed that it's still committed to first-party Xbox hardware over the summer, with comments from both President Sarah Bond and AMD CEO Lisa Su on silicon that would power next-gen Xbox devices, both from third and first parties. Get the Windows Central newsletter. Click here. Put your email address in. The original comments came from a gaming forum and suggested that Xbox's focus would be on its core mega franchises like World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Forza Horizon, and so on. Come the actual fuck on. Come the actual fuck on. Am I the only one that's sick of reading this fucking sentence here? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Why in the hell is World of Warcraft and Call of Duty considered the top 3 of Xbox games? World of Warcraft is not an Xbox game. It's not even on Xboxes. It's not on the consoles. It's only a PC game. You can't play World of Warcraft everywhere else. That's insane that they keep saying that. We keep seeing this in other articles too. I've seen it in other videos that I've done. Everybody's like, oh yeah, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, and Forza Horizon are the top 3. Really? What happened to Halo? What happened to Gears of War? What happened to Fable? What happened to Viva Pinata, damn it? What happened to Perfect Dark? What happened to Rare? What happened to Banjo-Kazooie? You bought Rare, you're doing nothing with it. Where did it go? What happened to, what was that game with the Blue Dragon? Is it called Blue Dragon? From Xbox 360? What happened to that? You didn't do anything with that. Sheesh. Sick of this shit. And so on. And that hardware plans were, quote, up in the air, not actually canceled. All right. Well, there we go. I'm going to read this sentence again because I think there's something telling here. The original comments came from a gaming forum and suggested that Xbox's focus would be on the core mega franchises like these three dumbass games, and so on, and that hardware plans were up in the air, not actually canceled. Those comments morphed into Xbox's hardware is canceled from various commentators and have now taken on a life of their own on social media as people speculate on the future of the Xbox platform. From what I've been told, the hardware plans are not even up in the air and remain firmly Xbox's path forward. Xbox Series hardware production has not ceased, and new stock will go out to retailers at its usual cadence, except for the fact, Jez Corden, that stores are pulling the Xbox off the shelves. So why would you keep producing things? This is so stupid. This is like stores are pulling Xboxes off shelves. We know that with the tariff situation, that has impacted the price of the consoles. Has impacted the price of consoles. I believe that all the Xboxes that they could need are sitting in warehouses here in the States. Because the demand for Xbox is not high. The demand for the Xbox Series console is not high. So that makes no sense to me why they would produce more. It's being pulled off shelves. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe somebody else could explain that better. Maybe you bring in somebody like Words of Paradise who could speculate that one out their ass better than I can. And that's not a diss. Sometimes that's what it takes. You need somebody coming in with something so fucking crazy that you're like, oh, actually, I could see through the crazy, and that makes more sense. Which is what happened last night on stream. We were talking. I was like, I still don't understand why that happened. And it's like a light bulb goes off for me because somebody says something crazy. Anyway, point being here is I don't understand why you'd be producing more consoles when they're not selling. So that seems like a crock of shit. But even if Microsoft did come out to squash the rumors themselves, it's hard to have any faith. Microsoft has been incredibly fickle over the past few years, crushed under AI hype demands from CFO Amy Hood and a complete dereliction of fan feedback. The planned restructuring of Xbox Game Pass was months in the making, and beyond their apparent macroeconomic need to make even more money, it's based on user behavior and the desire to boost the content fund for the cohort most likely to unsubscribe without new content. Oh, my head's going to explode reading that one, you guys. My head's going to explode. Do you know why people are unsubscribing? Because you have no games. You don't have games that are worth paying a monthly fee for, Xbox. That's your problem. If you had good games, people would pay. If you had good games, people would buy your consoles. If you had good first-party games, and you actually made quality product, people wouldn't care how much it costs because they buy it like crazy. They would do it in the way that fans are buying Nintendo product. They would not care. So the fact that now this journalist is claiming that the price increase is to make up for the loss in unsubscribers. So now your loyalty to Xbox is punished. That's what that translates to, Like that's what that line translates to. If you're loyal to Xbox and you're loyal to the system and you keep your subscription and you play those Game Pass games, well, guess what? Now your loyalty is going to be charged a little more. And I don't want to work with any company. I don't want to be a part of any corporate marketplace that charges its most loyal customers more to make up for their own fucking mistakes. Because that's what it is. They made the mistakes. They're bleeding consumers. They're bleeding players. And they increased the prices. According to this article, without consideration or without real empathy for their loyal fans, for their loyal consumers. Let's get back into this. Combined with huge price hikes, retailers like Costco and others removing Xbox hardware and Microsoft's massive layoffs over the summer, it's not unsurprising people are speculating on Xbox's demise. Microsoft is absolutely awful at managing faith in its consumer products, and as I've written And I've written previously about how the telemetry driving its decisions and its diffuse focus is leading to a collapse in morale in the brand. Yeah, you're probably not wrong there, although I'm sure I'd find things to disagree with you about. Gaming is not a necessity or a utility. It's driven by sentiment and fun feeling. People need to also feel good about where they play, and Microsoft is making it incredibly hard to feel good about Xbox right now. It's clearly reaching a crisis point, and that is a sentiment I 100% agree with. I've been covering Xbox for over 10 years at this point. I started when Microsoft's bombed Xbox One reveal led to a groundswell of hate for the brand and its future. Yeah, this was rough. This was rough. I remember that. You remember the Xbox One announcement, chat? I remember. Broke my heart, man. That was terrible. It was fostered by a sense of betrayal in what Xbox had been and represented, and led to a huge climb down that effectively dismantled the Xbox One platform and put Xbox firmly in third place forever. Lately, it feels like we're back in 2013 again. No, we never left. Xbox has never left 2013. It never did. It's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. The industry looks very different in 2025 as maturing audiences and lack of meaningful new player growth has companies breaking the rules to find new revenue streams. We've seen Xbox games flood onto PlayStation. Flood is the wrong word there. It's like 3 games tops now. Flood is not the right word. We've even seen PlayStation bring games to Xbox. Yeah, because PlayStation's also run by a bunch of doofuses. Microsoft is licensing out the Xbox brand to OEMs with the Xbox Ally, and I'm told more OEM hardware should appear in 2026 too. The one constant that Xbox fans could point to among all this was the clear value of Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass is the best value in gaming, or so the meme goes. Despite some price rises over the past couple years, it was hard to overlook what a stellar year it had thus far, with games like Expedition 33, Blueprints, Doom, Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remake, and others. But with an unprecedented 50% price increase on the tier that actually gets day one games, the negative reaction has been incredibly strong. It all just feels like another betrayal, particularly given President Sarah Bond's comments that Xbox Game Pass is profitable and also hitting $5 billion in revenues. That was baloney. Yeah, let's pull that up real quick here. Yeah, Xbox's FY25 Q4 gaming revenue is up 10% year over year, driven by growth in first-party games, with Xbox Game Pass reaching nearly $5 billion in annual revenue, quote, for the first time. All right, so now this is where none of it makes sense. None of this makes sense. And like, why this is happening and the conditions that, like, I can't even begin to explain the timeline for all of this stuff. Like, there is just so much going on here. So you're telling me Game Pass, they got to charge more money to their loyal people. Consoles are being pulled off of shelves. Xbox consoles are being pulled off of shelves because no one wants them. And they keep raising the prices on it. And they keep trying to hide behind the Trump tariffs that prices of goods are going up in this country and the world, really. That's prices are raising across the entire fucking world, and they're blaming the Trump tariffs for prices going up in Brazil. That's bullshit. Anyway, Game Pass price needs to go up. Console prices are going up. There's not a single Xbox first party that's making enough of a dent, even in the culture, to be worth a damn to even talk about. Expedition 33 is not an Xbox game. Blueprints is not an Xbox game. Oblivion remake? Oblivion. It's not even it's a remaster. It's the Oblivion remaster. It's a 20-year-old game. Is it more than 20 years old? So about a 20-year-old game. I think it's like 18 or 19 years. So it's almost 20 years old. Yeah, that's a remake. There's nothing new. That's not even new. It's just playing an old game again. Right? And what else did they say here? Blueprint. Doom. Oh, yeah. Doom, which failed. Doom bombed. Doom the Dark Ages bombed. That was a failure. South of Midnight? That was a failure. Got a lot of failures over there at Xbox. And yet, despite that, you guys, they're still saying that Game Pass reaches nearly $5 billion in annual revenue for the first time. I don't understand. I don't get it. If Xbox is making money and Game Pass is profitable and they're making $5 billion in revenue. Now, revenue is not profit. That's a big thing, right? But they're still bringing in $5 billion in revenue. Those price increases are strictly for profit. Or this is a lie. So now we've all come to kind of an impasse here where it's really hard to take anything that they say seriously. It's hard to take anything that the journalists say seriously. It's hard to take anything that the content creators say seriously now. The only thing that I can say seriously is that the games have not been up to par with where they were 20 years ago. That's pretty true just based on sales numbers. But if we look at this, man, I don't understand. I don't understand how you make all this money and then still have to report problems. So that's something interesting, right? That's something worth thinking about and worth looking into and waiting to hear more about, because I don't even know where that goes. That's insane to me. So let's finish this up. I hope this is almost. Is this not done? Okay, no, it's almost done. Okay, it all just feels like another betrayal, particularly given President Sarah Bond's comments that Xbox Game Pass is profitable and also hitting $5 billion in revenues. The way Xbox presented the changes as a good thing came across as tone deaf, especially given how other companies are pushing up prices while also simultaneously reporting record profits. Yeah, hey, there you go. There you go. Every company is reporting record profits, but they need to keep increasing their prices because of current market conditions. And those current market conditions are bullshit, by the way. That's all bullshit. It's because they need to report more profits every single year. Every time they report to their shareholders, they need to report more and more and more profits with an unlimited percentage increase. There isn't, it has to, you have to do a higher percentage than last time. If it was 8% last time, it needs to be 9% profit increase. If it was 9%, it needs to be 10%. If it was 10%, it needs to be 11%. And if it's lower than that, then bad things happen. People get laid off. The stock price goes down. That's exactly it. Yeah. It's profits over quality, but it's profits over everything. And that's why I opened this stream. And this is a good point here. Corpos need to understand the jig is up. My friends, we have over 550 of you watching right now from around the world on multiple platforms. And there's something I need to make extremely clear. If you want this to stop, if you want to beat them, because you can, you need to stop buying their shit. You need to stop buying their games. You need to stop buying their consoles. You need to stop giving them money. You need to stop. You need to choose actively to stop. You need to tell your friends to stop. You have to look for alternatives for entertainment. You have to maybe play older games that you haven't played. We need to see them fall, man. We need to crush them. And the only way you crush them is if you stop giving them your money. We can. We still have time. It is not game over yet. In fact, it's just begun. I am the first of many talking about this. You think that I'm the first person that's going to tell you to stop buying stuff? There's more of me coming. Some of you watching this right now, it's only a matter of time before you pick up a microphone because you're just as frustrated and angry as I am that you're like, you know what, now I got to talk about it too. And I invite you to do that. Please don't leave me out here as the only one. I feel like I'm the only one sometimes, and that's fine. I'll do it. But get out there. If you're pissed off about this, pick up a microphone and start talking about it. Even if you have only 2 people watching, it doesn't matter. We need to create the ripple effect that tells people, that tells the world, stop supporting the system. Correct the market. The market can be fixed. We need to crash it. And everybody's going to cry. Everybody's 401ks are going to come toppling down temporarily. We need to crash it by not participating. And you need to tell your friends to stop participating. And then you buy everything. Actually, once it crashes, then you buy everything that's on sale. And you'll have money to buy everything on sale because you haven't been wasting your money on stupid shit. This is not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is now a political movement. And I don't endorse movements. It's not. Look, I started talking about video games. I started this channel talking about Star Wars and video games, but that's like the entry point because I know all this stuff really well. It's everything, my man. It's every mall. It's every department store. It's every food store. It's your clothing. It's your games. It's your entertainment. It's the movie theaters. We need to bring it all to the ground. Bring it all down. Bring it all back to square one, man. Stop spending your money. Yeah, that's right. It's not a movement. It's a bowel movement. It's a bowel movement, man. That's exactly what it is. They will fold. Do you know how fast they'll fold? Do you know? Look at Concord, man. That was without thinking about it. Concord on PlayStation. That failed so bad to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And they tried to make it go away immediately. This is it. This is it. You need to think, when's your line? When do you hit that line threshold, man? When do you hit that line threshold where you say, I'm done? I'm done being a cog in this machine. I'm done being controlled by this system. We don't need, the world will tell you, and the fucking college professors will tell you, and the news will tell you, and the idiot youth, the idiot kids out there will tell you that we need some kind of socialism thing. We need some kind of Marxism thing. No, we don't. We need to correct the system that we're in because we still can, because we still have the ability to do it right now. You and me have the ability to stop spending fucking money right now. Save it. Save your money. It'll be worth more if you stop spending. See, that's a big thing. The movement of money. This is a big economic thing. It's like, if you stop spending, then it becomes more rare, then its value goes up. Supply and demand, baby. Cancel your Netflix. Cancel your Disney Plus. Cancel your Game Pass. Don't buy the new consoles. Don't buy the new games. Play indie games instead. There's a Steam sale going on right now. You can get incredible indie games for $2, $3, $4, $5. And you'll never need to pick up an Xbox controller again. You play on your keyboard. You play on a PS3 DualShock. Actually, I don't know. That's a little exaggerative. You play on a PS4 DualShock. Support smaller creators. And that's not even hyperbole anymore. That's actually just morally correct to do now. Because by supporting these mega corporations, you're actually hurting yourself in the long run. All right, hey, this is a good point. Steam sale is over tomorrow. Yes, check it out. Seriously, guys, check out the Steam sale. There are some indie games on there. Here's what I'll invite you to do. Look at Fake Portal, fakeportal.com. See if you find any games on there that are interesting to you. Then check to see if they're on sale on Steam. They're probably there. They're probably on sale. Like, this is it. And I swear I'm going to do another video on it now, especially that I've done this rant. I'm going to try to do it soon. But like, how do you fix the system? Because it's not just games. It's not just entertainment. And I'm sick and fucking tired of talking about it all the time. You know what I mean? You turn on any fucking YouTube channel, you turn on anybody, you turn on any stream, you turn on FNT, you turn on Geeks and Gamers, which I like these people, by the way. I have relationships with some of them I'm friends with. You turn on any of these channels, you even turn us on Saturday Night Hypnosis. You turn the clicker on, you put it on the television, and what do you see? What do you see every day here on YouTube? You see dipshits talking about stuff. You see people like me as a talking head. Right now, that's all I am right now. I'm a talking head. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm ready to fight the fuck back. Okay? It's up to us now. And it's easy. It's not even that hard. You don't have to do anything. You just stop spending your money with these companies. Like, that's it. You could fix the entire economy if you stopped buying shit. I feel like Confucius over here. It's like, it's ridiculous that a guy in a wizard outfit is the only one saying things. Don't buy this shit. Don't buy anything. And there's like other YouTube channels starting up right now that are talking like, hey, we really should start being considerate with the stuff that we buy because we're encouraging these companies to be this terrible. They took all of my heroes, dude. I'm done forever. I'm Frankenstein's monster. These fucking companies invented me. You killed Luke Skywalker. You killed Fable. You killed Gears of War. You killed Star Wars. You killed Indiana Jones. You killed Kingdom Hearts is a fucking disaster. And you could hear music from that in every single one of my videos from Kingdom Hearts. It's like my top 3 favorite franchises, man. They killed it. Killed it dead. Transformers. Dead. Even the Muppets is fucking dead. Even the Muppets couldn't survive. Okay. So if we're not going to get any more heroes on the television, it's up to you now. If we're not going to get any more heroes in your video games, it's up to you now. Mass Effect. Hey, everybody, drop it in the comments right now. What is your favorite franchise that they have fucking killed? Is it Doctor Who? Is it Mass Effect? Is it Dragon Age? You let me know. Terminator, He-Man. Those are good ones that are dead. Drop it in the comments. Star Trek, that's a good one. That's a good one. Star Trek is totally cooked. They've killed everything. They've killed everything. And now they want to keep charging you more and more for even less. And we're not doing anything about it. Does that make sense? They've killed everything we love, at least all the entertainment, right? But they've made the quality of life itself more difficult. The prices on everything is up. They say it's inflation. It's fucking bullshit. It's profits. It's profits. Okay? They have ruined our entertainment. Sports isn't even worth a fuck. It's all about gambling. And it's a distraction. And I heard this on Instagram yesterday. I don't even go on Instagram anymore. Here I am tossing and turning in bed at like 3 a.m. And I pull up Instagram. The first thing I see was somebody explaining that, sports in the olden times, in the Roman times, sports was used to distract the people. And there is this very common phrase that's thrown around. It's like, give them bread, right? Give them sports and bread to distract you from the bullshit that the leaders are pulling. This isn't what I'm presenting to you here, and the actions that I am advocating for and will continue to advocate for, probably on a grander scale now. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing. It's not a political thing. It's none of that. It's not a left or right, far left, up and down. It's market correction. The buyers need to wake the fuck up. It has nothing to do with politics. Some people are going to say that I'm a communist by talking like this. Some people are going to say that I'm some kind of Trump-supporting capitalist talking about this. It's like, no, it's actually just the populace taking back control of the market that we should control, that we have a right to control that 50% of that relationship with. You and I, chat, you guys, all of you, wherever you are around the world, we are all in an abusive relationship with the corporations. It's an abusive relationship, and we've given them that control. We've given them that ability to control us by giving them our money. Every penny counts. Every penny counts. I am going to get banned from this fucking platform. Oh man, I am so going to get banned. They're going to nuke me one day, you guys. And I hope you all understand that that's what's going to happen. Like, I will get nuked because I'm telling you the things that they do not want you to know. I've seen it. I've been in the boardrooms. I've seen it with my own eyes. And it scared the crap out of me. I've read too many books, and I've seen too much. I've experienced too much myself. And it's scary out there. Working in the corporate sector is scary. Not because the job itself is scary. What it represents is scary. You don't have to, it's not about people. It's about making as much profit as possible. All right, I'm seeing this. This is Space Dave 2000 has been telling me I gotta look at the super chats. My bad, you guys. I will look at the super chats. Okay. Firstly, let's just give a big shout out to Mr. Rouge once again, dropping 50 Real Life Fake Wizard memberships. Mr. Rouge is the Santa Claus of YouTube. Shout out, my man. Good stuff. Samurai Smack for a 5 says it's the perfect time for a third party to get into the console industry. Providing us physical games and good business practices would sell like crazy. Would they? I think that's a good, that's a whole like stream on its own. Like that's like a debatable discussion point, Samurai Smack. It's a perfect time for a third party to get into the console industry. I don't know if it is. I think it's I think it's so oversaturated with the focus on PC gaming right now and handheld gaming that right now it becomes more difficult to get in as a console product. And here's why. Like the exclusivities are dying out. So the only reason to have that other console is if you have something that's worth getting that new console for, and then that makes it expensive because the cost of chips is expensive because Nvidia is way too overvalued and they're selling their chips for extremely high prices, but also there's a scarcity issue of where the chips are coming from. Like there's a lot going on there. I think I actually think it's the opposite. It's a difficult time to get into the market now. But physical games and good business practices would sell like crazy. So what we need is more companies selling more games. And if they were to take that money, so here, I'll throw this at you instead. Here's a good reversal. You give us new games. You give us some kind of third-party production company that's making games like crazy, and they take the money that they would have put into R&D and marketing for a new console, and they specifically put that into marketing for their games and getting the word out about their games and playing the field of like actually informing us about the games that they're making, and then also put the money back into games. Just make good games and people will buy them. Like it's not that hard, but unfortunately corporations have made it where quality is the last thing they give a fuck about. Thank you for that. DeVito Frito for a 20 says it's crazy how people blame Satya Nadella or Don Matrick, but Phil Spencer has no responsibility for getting 10 million year over year for a decade and cannot manage the studios to deliver product in timely manner. Xbox One outsold Series. Xbox One did outsell Series, but that was because of people like myself who were still bought into the idea that good games were coming. Like a lot of people bought the Xbox One because they were still super fans at the time, and we were promised good games. I got to take this down. We were promised good games. Unfortunately, those good games never really came. We never really got them. No, I think Don Matrick was like the final. After Don Matrick, we do see a decline in at least the mind market share of Xbox for sure. And Phil Spencer is definitely a problem. I like Phil. I like Phil Spencer as a guy, like personally. But I think his leadership is flawed. I think I would love to have a conversation with the guy privately, like one-on-one, because I'm fascinated with his leadership. He would never want to talk to me because I rip on his brand all the time. But Phil, if you're watching this, or if the interns that you pay to play your games get to see this by any chance, I would love to talk to you privately off the record. Not that you care, and I won't wear the wizard outfit, Phil. Like we could meet up. I'll wear a suit. I'll even dress up for the occasion. Would love to talk with you about your strategies here. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about that, now that I say that, you guys, that's what they should do. Not just me, and that's not really for me. Do you want to get do you want to get trust back with gamers? Be real. Be real with them. Talk to them. Go on these podcasts with gamers. Go on with shows with people that you can set the terms ahead of time. Be like, we're going to talk this, and this, and don't get shitty with me. Like, don't break that. and it's not that it would be fake or it would be rigged, but in the sense of like, hey, we're going to come on to talk about the Game Pass problem and actually sit down and Joe Rogan this thing and talk about it, because people want transparency and people want trust. And right now there is none. Don't come in with your corporate speak. Come in as an actual human being. Come in as a normal person. Come in as a gamer and actually have a conversation with people like me that just want you to win. Like I want Xbox to be the king again. Well, in my heart, that's what I want. In my brain, I want them to collapse, right? That's what we need to have happen in order to get them to win again. They need to fall so that they can rise like a phoenix. They all need to. And then actually, after the market crashes, we all can buy in. But I'm jumping around like, ridiculously on that one. But I want gaming to be great. We all want gaming to be great. Because we're gamers. Because we love this stuff, because we love these stories, because we love these games, and we want them to be good. We don't want them to be bad. If you sat down and you met your customers in the middle, you could do great things. And these fucking people just won't do that. They won't do that. So I don't know. I think that's exactly what they need to do. I think Phil Spencer needs to sit down and have conversations with gamers. Sarah Bond needs to sit down and go on podcasts with gamers and be real. I tell the truth. Obviously there's like classified internal. Oh my gosh, it's really itching me. The beard is getting me. Of course, there's internal classified things that you can't spoil, right? There's things that can't be spoiled. That's fine. But you can still be honest about what's happening. Thank you for that. Vidman 5000 for a 2 says, love your videos, Real Life Fake Wizard. Thank you, Vidman. I appreciate you watching them. I do. I appreciate all you guys watching the videos and hanging out with the streams. And that's really cool, man. It's really cool. We've come a long way. It was just this time last year, man. I was like doing this time last year was my first big video, like my first big explosive video. And it was called The Games Industry is Run by Morons. And that was my first video to hit like 200,000 views. And ever since then, it's been interesting. I've learned a lot, and I love being here. So if you guys love watching the videos, then I'm just going to have to keep making them. So thank you, Vidman. Appreciate that. Nakagawa 7. I'm not good with names. I said this all stream. For a 199, Banana Man Alex sent me. Hi, Wiz. Hope you're well. Well, hi. And shout out to Banana Man Alex. We got a collab at some point. Oh no, it's Alex. We got a collab at some point because we say a lot of the same stuff and we attract a lot of the same enemies. And I feel like putting us together would be pretty interesting. And we're both getting pretty close to having the same kind of subscriber count, which is good. So we're in the same ballpark. It's not like I'm somebody so much significantly smaller scale, but I think at some point we got to talk. We got to touch base. So anyway, but yeah, shout out to you for being here. I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate Alex sending you this way. It's good to see you here. Space Dave 2000 for 2 says, I've got a bridge to sell you if you believe Xbox. Well, I don't have the budget for a bridge right now. I can tell you that, Space Dave. I don't have the budget for the bridge, but I do appreciate your super chat here. and unfortunately, no, I don't believe Xbox presently. Old Man Cad comes in with a 5 Real Life Fake Wizard memberships. Thank you for that, sir. Old Man Cad, I hope you're well. I know you said last night you were having some health stuff when we were on SNH. I'm happy you're here, and I hope you're doing well. Shout out to you, man. Mellow Rebel for a 2 says, facts. He called me out. I'll get my mic. Yes, it's time. It can't just be me. It can't just be me on the microphone, you guys. If you are as frustrated and as pissed off as I am about these things, it's time to start talking about it. Get out there. Try it. And we have to, it can't just be one person. It needs to be everybody that can or has the ability to do that. I like to think about it that I guess in a lot of ways I've been blessed. I've been blessed in the way that I've been given the ability to speak. Not everybody has that. So I look at this as this is a God-given thing. God gave me the ability to speak. And sometimes I say stupid ass shit and my brain runs off like crazy. But actually, when I look at it, I've been blessed with the kind of chaotic brain that I have because it gives me the ability to process information in a crazy way where I could come to these conclusions and I can explain things. That's something that I have. But other people might have different blessings. They might have other skills. Maybe you can speak just like I do. Maybe you can't, but there are other things that we can all do. Every one of you watching has something special that there is a special trait that each of you has that will allow you to participate in achieving change. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not able to do that. You're not able to stand on your own values and morals because you can, you owe, and you should. And it might not be as big as having, the wherewithal to put on a wizard outfit and start making videos. And I'm not saying you should do that, but maybe it is picking up a microphone and starting to make videos. Or maybe it's getting involved and writing blogs, or maybe it's doing research and being and putting information out there and going out on Twitter and talking about this stuff on Twitter. Or maybe it's as simple as telling your friends. Maybe it's a butterfly effect. And so I really believe that if we want to achieve real change, we have to start telling people, and we have to start mobilizing people and encouraging people to step up and fight for the things they believe in. That's what I'm going to do. And I hope you do it too. So shout out to you, Mellow Rebel. Get that microphone. Mr. JRPG Shadow says, for a 5, thank you, says, what's crazy is I'm willing to pay an arm and a leg for something if it's worth it. But way too often it's watered down, bare bones product. I'm done. That's it. That's the truth. That's the truth, though, man. We would be willing to pay anything. Anything. We'd pay anything if it was good. We'd pay anything if it was worthwhile. And the value was there, but there is no value there. It's just not there. There's no reason to buy it when it costs that much and there's just no value. You're 100% right. You are right on the money, and you are justified in feeling that way, even though the Access Media and plenty of other paid off content creators will tell you that you're wrong for feeling like that, that you're actually terribly wrong for feeling like that. But you're right. You have every right to feel that way. Thank you. Rob's Memory Lane for 20 says, you have been crushing it with your videos. I am so impressed with your takes regarding so many topics. And that's saying something because I am older than you. Your articulation is superb. Keep up the great work. Well, Rob's Memory Lane. Thank you for that. I really appreciate the kind words there quite a bit. I don't even know what to say. That's very nice of you. That's very nice. I guess I'm just so angry. I'm just so fed up of watching everything being taken away from us. I just want to fight back. And this is the only way I know how to do it. So I'm going to keep trying. And that's all we can do is just keep trying to fight back. I think about it this way. It's every single thing that we've all encountered, every single experience we all have, right, shapes us into who we are. There's a lot of bad. There's a lot of good. There's kind of a spectrum there to the experiences that we all have, the responsibilities we all have. But that shapes us into the person we can choose to be and how we choose to use those experiences, right? So for me, I'm just so fed up. I'm ready to fight back because they took away all my heroes. So they've taken away all the heroes. So that means it's time for us well, we spent all this time watching heroes, right? We spent all this time reading stories and watching movies about heroes. Isn't it time to start doing what they would do in these circumstances? That's the way I view it. That's my way of perceiving what we're supposed to do. So And if that gives me the ability to articulate it for somebody else, and hopefully they can try to live out that as well, then that's what we're going to try to do. But thank you for your super chat. That is extremely kind. I take that stuff pretty seriously. A lot of people here are just like, oh yeah, thanks. But like this one, some of these, like, they kind of hit me hard. I wish I had the better words to say to that. But thank you. Okay, hang on with this. Careful, wizard. You're going to be labeled an errorist. I can't even say the word. I hope not, because I don't want any violence to befall anybody. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I want to see the markets collapse. That is an abstract thing. That is not. I don't want anyone to suffer violence. I want at all. I don't want it. I'm like a pacifist, you guys. Like that's it, and that's what's really hard on a comment like that, because you're not wrong. They will try to label me as something. They will try to say that I'm a bad guy, and it'll happen. But all I want is for the buyers in our world to have control again, to have a place in that relationship between buyers and sellers. It's an abusive. We all live in an abusive relationship. Some people try to tell you that it's a political thing and that there are evil forces at work, and maybe there are. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in telling you that these corporations are the bad guys. They've killed everything that we love. They laugh in our face about it when we say we're upset. They laugh in our face when we say, hey, can you just do things a little bit better and we'll keep buying? And then they're like, no, also screw you for even asking. You're a bad guy for you're how dare you even criticize us? And it's this false sense of reality. It's a fake reality that we all live in with these companies. But they'll label me as being crazy because of what I wear and how I present my information and what I believe. They'll say that I'm the crazy one. Even though we live in a reality where the corporations fail all the time, but aren't allowed to tell you that they fail. They're also not allowed to admit mistakes, because it would tie back to their shareholder, their share price and their shareholder relationships. And then on top of that, so the corporations make mistakes. They're never allowed to confess about it. They're never allowed to admit that they're going to radically change things. And then we have the media on top of that running defense for the lies that corporation peddles us. And that sounds like it's a conspiracy. But that's real talk. Like, that's the real talk, man. And also, it's not even a political thing, because both the left and right play into the system. You have both the Democrats and Republicans love this system, love playing into this bullshit system, because they get to be rich, but we don't. But regular people don't. Regular people will be stuck renting until they're dead. You know, we look around. Starbucks is closing its doors in a whole bunch of places. Starbucks, the coffee juggernaut, is closing doors all over the country, like permanently. They're shutting down these Starbucks locations. It's like, why? It's like, well, maybe because $8 coffees wasn't sustainable. Maybe $16 coffees wasn't sustainable. And it's like, yeah, they can get up to $16. You can get that up really, really high. Maybe that wasn't sustainable in the long run, in a world where people can't afford gas for their car and they can't afford groceries. And I don't give a shit. And I live in America, and this is going to get me in trouble. I don't give a fuck who the president is. The cost of living continues to go up. We had a Joe Biden. We had a Trump economy, and then we had a Biden economy, and now we're back in a Trump economy. And the standard of living has not become better for regular Americans in any three of those presidencies. We had the Obama years. We had the crash during the Obama years. We had Bush before that. We had Clinton before that. And the standard of living has only gotten worse across all of them, all the way from then to now, from the 90s to now. Okay? Things are not getting better. Things are getting worse, because more and more and more and more control is going to the mega corporations who control everything. And it's not even as conspiratorial as control. It's not even as conspiratorial as, oh my gosh, they're trying to take over because they're evil and they believe all this. It's like, no. People peddle those stories because they sound good. It's more believable. It's because they just want money. It has nothing to do with like people peddle these stories of it's control. It was prophesized 8,000 years ago that these people are going to do that. It's like that sounds more exciting than I think it really is. I think the reality is our economy is built on a bunch of gamblers doing their house of cards. Do you know people that work on Wall Street? I do. These people suck. Can we be real about that? People that work on Wall Street usually suck. They're usually really shitty people. They're the kind of people, they're weaselly, is that a generalization? Sure. I don't really care. I'm in New York City right now. They're not the people you want to hang out with. They're going to try to sell you something. You hang out with these people, they're going to try to sell you some shit. There's a stand-up, Lewis Black has a stand-up bit where he talks about you're at an airport and there's a guy you sit next to and you start having this conversation with a guy and you're having a good conversation. He's talking about the wife and kids, and then the guy tries to sell you insurance. So here you were thinking you were making a friend at the airport and the guy tries to sell you insurance. That's how it's like talking to these stockbrokers. I think the joke was that's a Bob. Bob is the guy at the airport trying to sell you insurance. Yeah, that's what it's like hanging out with, although they're not trying to sell you insurance, they're trying to sell you some other shit. That, or they're flexing on their Mercedes and their third wife. And the third wife is stepping out on them anyway with Requise, so it doesn't matter. That's the fucking stock market, people. It's called Wizards Crash Out, if you got a problem with it. Samurai Smack for a 10, dude. You should create a fake portal-like site for aspiring game developers to get together and make games for the fake portal. The only way to fight back is by making something to counter AAA. I love that idea. I love that idea. We're not. So, firstly, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate your investment into us. So I think right now, and I've talked about this before, right now we keep getting attacked on fake portal. People keep trying to take the site down. We've had a bunch of reports that it's gone offline. Our site keeps getting taken offline. We don't fully have that ironed out yet. The budget on fake portal is a lot more than we hoped it would be. We are paying for services now to keep things online, to make sure emails get delivered, to make sure that things go out. And I mean, it's just, we have to, our goal right now, and I've talked about this on the last stream, our goal is to get fake portal to have 500 games on it. So until that's done, and I'm going to start talking about that as a milestone every week on here, how many new games have been added. Our goal is to just get to 500 games, and then we're going to start making changes along the way. I guess I had hoped that things would be a little bit easier to get this thing off the ground. It's not, because we keep getting attacked. I mean, we keep getting they're overwhelming the servers that we have where the site runs slow. It's bad. It's a pain in the ass. I'm on with the server support team all the time, and we're paying a lot of money. And again, fake portal was free, you guys. Fake portal's free, and it's meant to be free. But we're having conversations we're not gonna be able to afford this forever. More about that. Like I said, I did say at the beginning of the stream, I'm going to put out a video later this week, probably around Thursday, talking about the roadmap, and that'll be with the decisions that we've made on that. Not that we're going to take it down, just I don't know what we're going to do if we keep getting attacked like we are, because we don't have a budget on this. It's free. It's supposed to be a free resource, and we also don't have a lot of help. That's not to say we've even asked for help, because we haven't. With intention, we haven't really asked for help with intention. There's a lot of reasons for that. But yeah, we're working on that stuff. But I do appreciate your sentiment here, and yes, we do need to keep these things going, because we do need to counter AAA. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Space Dave 2000 for 2 comes in and says, greed in boardroom, greed in government, greed in people. So I've been rewatching like The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Actually, today I'll be starting Lord of the Rings. I rewatched all of The Hobbit. I watched The Hobbit extended editions recently, just in passing, mostly as a way to turn my brain off. I've been so, I don't want to say stressed out, but I've been so like furious with some of the things that have been happening. I just turned my phone off because I can't handle it. I can handle it. I'm just sick and fucking tired, and I don't want to say something stupid. Because I will say stupid shit. So I turned my phone off anyway. I've been turning my phone off lately completely. And I've been, watching TV and playing some retro games. I fixed my Rogue Ally, the Rogue Ally, the old one, the one that melts SD cards. Yeah, I have one. I fixed it. I've been playing games, and I was watching The Hobbit recently. And something that was, the Hobbit movies talk a lot about greed. There's that whole subplot through the films of dragon sickness, where greed makes men sick and turns them mad and makes them terrible, violent people, and they turn on their loved ones. Well, some of the subplots in the entire Tolkien lore is greed. Like that's kind of the big thing, is greed and power. Even the One Ring, what does it do? It makes you fall into this not sexual lust, but lust for power and lust for greed or and resources. And what's fun, and I think it's just the way that I was raised, and I think this is a blessing in the way I was raised. I don't have any desire for any of that shit, and I wish more people lived like that. I wish more people lived in a way. I'm a small business owner. I've been a small business owner since 2019. I started out on my own, and we've gotten walloped, man. We have lost a lot. We have won a lot. We've had incredible deals. We've had terrible deals, and we've worked really hard. We work really hard all the time. But you know what one of the greatest feelings in the world is? Saying no and leaving money on the table. Oh my God, it's an incredible feeling, you guys. It is the most. You want confidence in yourself. You say no, and you learn how to say no to people. Like I've turned down deals to work with businesses that have television commercials right now. They've got money to be paying for television commercials because they're in pharmaceuticals, and I've turned them down mostly because my conscience was conflicted. But it's like, I don't want to work with you because I think you're a bad person. And that would cost me, at this point, because it was so long ago, probably closer to $1 million on the one deal that I'm talking about. But I've lost, like lots and lots and lots of money because you turn people down. So if that means that I have to drive the same car for a decade, I'm happy. If that means that if that would mean I have to downsize the apartment that I live in, so be it, man. I'm never going to submit to greed. And I talk about that, and maybe that is a whole video on its own for sure, because a lot of people live in perpetual desire for money. A lot of people live in a perpetual desire for wealth and power. And I think of it like the One Ring. And I started saying this just in internally. I started saying it's like I consider greed like the Ring of Power. And I try to consider myself like Faramir, at least from the film, or Samwise. It's like I have no desire for that. You could look at that greed and be like, no, I don't want any of that. And I wish more people spoke like that. Because greed isn't important. What matters is, are you living a life worth of meaning? And if you're living a life worth of meaning, then, the greed doesn't really matter. But yeah, to your point here, Space Dave, because I took it off in a completely different direction. It's the greed in the boardrooms that get us in trouble. It's the greed in the government that gets us in trouble. It's greed in other people that continue to get us in lots and lots of trouble. How many YouTube creators do you know that have had massive falling outs, losing their entire career and reputation because they banked on their greed? instead of doing their job or being a good person, or greed changed them and power changed them. Can name a few for sure. There's a lot. There's a lot, man. So what I think is we need less of that. We need more people to start talking about the things that matter. And that's what we have to do. That's what we got to do. And that's pretty much that. You guys, man. You guys are doing it today. Smash JT coming in gifting 5 real life fake wizard membership. Shout out to Smash JT. Dude, I was it's really funny, and this is gonna sound ridiculous. I fall asleep watching all of Smash JT streams lately. And last night it was like Silk Song. Because Smash streams normally like past my bedtime. So I end up watching that, and then I wake up like an hour later. I'm like, who's talking? And it's because I left the Smash JT playing and I fall asleep. Damn, I'm getting old. That's the thing. I can't even stay up late anymore. It's just I'm getting too old for this shit. This beard is going to be real soon. But anyway, shout out. Thank you for that. Pen 10 for a 5 comes in as angry and discouraged as I can get. I am reminded by inspiring people such as yourself of hope. We must have it. Well, I thank you for that, Pen 10. And I like your profile picture there. I recognize Gears of War, bro. I know that's Gears. I think that's Gears 4, actually. That specific image. Yeah, a lot of people say that I like, you're negative all the time. It's like, no, I'm negative with hope. Like I'm filled with fury because I know how good things could be. And there's a lot of people like that. And I think we just start talking about it. We need more people to start spreading the word. Spread the word. I look, I'll put it this way. My team and I, we keep talking about this. Like, I feel like there's something more we can do. And this is something I think maybe we'll talk about this probably closer to next year, because we have an idea of what we want to do to try and encourage people to be encouraging. And I think we got an idea for what we're going to do with that. So more on that later, but I do appreciate your kind words, and thank you for the super chat. We do need hope. But we also have to be the voice of hope. We can never black pill. Never black pill. Samurai Smack for a 5. Talk to Eric July. He's the guy that created the Rippaverse, his own comic book company that is doing extremely well. He had to go through the same. So what's funny is man, I would love to work with Rippaverse some point. We're not there yet. Our channel's not big enough. And I'm going to speak for Rippa here. I've been a Rippa fan for a while. I've watched his stuff for some time because I used to be a comic book fan. So, and I appreciate his whole like, hey, you know what? I'm angry about how things are, but I'm going to go and fight the fight and get in the game. I appreciate that. I would love to do something on Rippa Send, but we don't have a big enough channel yet, because to do that, you need to have a lot of people that are willing to support your project. And we're not there yet. Maybe one day. But yeah, Eric July is awesome. And as far as coordinating with him on something like Fake Portal, I know he's a busy guy. And we kind of know what we have to do. I guess, let me reiterate here. The problems that we have with Fake Portal are not things that we can't combat. We can combat them. The problem becomes it gets extremely expensive. So we have to choose, do we pay all of that? Do we put up the money for that? Especially on something where, it's not a charity. It's not we're not begging for money for it. There's an ability for you to help participate in it by buying Matcha on the Fake Portal website for sure. But yeah, it's a little more complex than maybe I'm making it out to seem. But I do appreciate your sentiment here. Yeah, Eric July is a good guy. Geezer Noob drops a 5 and says nothing. I mean, thank you for the 5, Geezer Noob. If there's a comment in here that you wanted to say that maybe I missed, drop it. And let me see if I'm missing your comment here. Geezer Noob says, I love that WDW Pro has you on his panels. Great input, cogent insights, no fluff. Thy spells have great power. Well, I appreciate that. But you know what? You know what's fun about that channel and being on with Pro, and I love being on with Pro and the rest of the team there, the TPP people. They're good friends. And I got to hang out with them when I was in Universal, not Pro, but I got to hang out with Marvin and Ron and Tom F, which was fun. We got to go to Universal together a couple weeks ago. That was a good time. Being on the Pro show is you know what the one challenge is about being on the Pro show? I'll give you the secret right now. You don't ask questions. And all I want to do is ask questions. It's like it's a news broadcast. The way that Pro operates his show, which shout out to him, it's genius the way he's put it together. His show is genius. It is formulaic, but it is he and the way that Pro is so articulate with shit, it's genius on how he ducks and weaves around presentation. It really is one of the greatest showmen. But the way that the show is designed is you're just supposed to talk about your, I guess, opinions, really, or your input. What is your input on this topic that has been presented? And for me, that's a challenge for me because I always want to be like, I have 1,000 questions about this, but that's not the premise of that show. It's a different kind of show. Yeah, no, I love being on with them. They're good people. They're fun. Oh yeah, no, the not swearing thing is pretty hard. I am shocked if he was to watch any of this stuff, because then I may not get. If Pro or the TPP people watch anything of my content, any of my streams, I'm not getting invited back on that show because I curse like a sailor on this. But I do have a disclaimer: viewer discretion is advised. We play it in the opening. Okay. Let's see. It is going on 3:30 here. We have over 500 people watching around the world, you guys. That is incredible. Shout out to you. I'm going to end this poll that I left up. And you guys said no. 52% of you said no. Do you care about clips as videos? And I think, 48 said yes. 52 said no, which is encouraging because that means I could start using clips and maybe start posting them as videos. We're going to consider that on things moving forward. But as I look to the future here, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of work to be done. And there's a lot of things on the way. If I look, who is streaming right now? Is there anybody streaming that we can raid, chat? Who is live right now that needs to be raided? Who can we raid? How about X-Ray Girl? You want to raid X-Ray Girl again? Let's do that. I have decided we are going to raid X-Ray Girl's channel because they are streaming right now. So, all right, my friends, we are going to tie things up here. This has been an incredible stream. We talked about a lot. You guys coming in with the super chats, absolutely crushing it. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to Mr. Rouge dropped in 50 gifties. That's awesome. Smash JT coming in, popping in. Have a great Sunday. Have a great Sunday to you, my friend. Shout out to you and the family. Hope you guys have a great time. And I will see you soon. So until next time, create, innovate, inspire. And for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus. And also cancel Game Pass. And also cancel Netflix. Just cancel everything. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. What is profitability? Is it in the room with us right now?